Hello. Today we're going to discuss game mechanics. One of the key problems with serious games is that game designers think that by giving points, adding badges, leaderboards, and levels, they can turn a boring activity into a game. When gaming mechanics like these are tacked on rather than baked in, they don't create engagement and they aren't any fun. They seem contrived and illegitimate. We have found that there are 5 principles you need to follow to ensure that mechanics are baked in rather than tacked on. Agency. Create meaningful choices that the player must make with real consequences. This is core to your design and will require allowing many different choices and outcomes. Challenges. Provide real conflict that must be resolved or overcome. When there is no tension, then it's too boring to play. The challenges should increase over time with experience. Uncertainty. Ensure that outcomes are not preordained. People want surprises. A game with completely predictable outcomes will never be played more than once. This doesn't mean the game is random, but that it has rules that allow surprises, both good and bad. Discoverability. Let the rules be mastered during the course of the game. No one wants to read user's manuals. And games that are too complicated to easily master are rarely played. Increase difficulty with time and experience. Outcomes. Recognize outcomes beyond points and badges. Give kudos in the game, messages, and warnings to guide behaviors. Show progress in moving towards the goals and objectives set out at the beginning of the game. With these mechanic principles in mind, you can then begin to look at the many different game mechanics to enhance your game experience. These include things such as bars, sounds and video, role-playing, narrative, stories, feedback loops, progressive levels of difficulty, interactivity, taking turns, matching, collecting points or other things, moving around. Let me tell you of a serious game that did an outstanding job of applying game mechanics to a boring activity. A health system was concerned about the level of diabetes among the Hispanic population in Southern California. They had delivered their traditional 1,000-page of boring material in clinical education sessions in the past with no measurable impact on behavior and very low levels of engagement. They approached a serious game design company, Oyogo, and asked for their help. After completing extensive ethnographic research, personas, experience maps, and game design, they decided that the best way to engage this audience was by replacing the 1,000 pages of boring health education material with a Spanish soap opera game. Through this interactive game, the Hispanic community was able to apply agency to explore many different episodes and scenarios of outcomes based upon selecting different behaviors of their characters. They were challenged by only being able to get to higher levels by making the right decisions. This meant that they understood the impact of their decisions on diabetes. They could discover many different outcomes for all the various characters by following them through a series of choices. Their final score was based upon their mastery of the material that meant they had to understand how to prevent diabetes. The paradox is that they never studied a book or felt like they were learning at all. It was all through an enjoyable game experience that they gained knowledge. Thanks for watching. Please look at the video description for links to exercises and other resources.